Hey y'all, welcome back. My name is Sarah and I love to talk about movies in a semi-critical way. And today we're going to talk about Love Jones. So the things I love about this movie start from the very beginning, where you're looking at a city and everything is in black and white. The perspective moves through different parts of the city, and it's almost like someone is taking snapshots of these different parts of the city. It moves to a scene where there's like a man and a woman hugged up tight kissing, and it moves from being in black and white to color. And then there's somebody says the word Nina, and then next scene is Nina sitting by a window looking out of it, looking very sad, and you can see into an apartment where there's all these boxes and her friend is helping her move. Love Jones is about a young writer, poet, Darius, who meets a photographer, artist named Nina. They are instantly attracted to each other and decide to start dating, or kicking it, as they would say. The issue is that Nina just broke up with her longtime boyfriend, and Darius has been single for a while and is not looking for anything serious, or so he says. They have an amazing first date and evening and morning. They're very into each other, and it's the beginning of like fresh new love where they want to know everything about each other, and especially their passions, her in photography and him in poetry and writing. But both are sort of denying how strong their feelings are for each other. They keep claiming that, oh no, we just want to be casual. It moves from his perspective and his friend group to her perspective and her friend. Both of them are going through their own kind of thing during the time where they first meet. Darius is, I don't know if he got fired because they never say, but he don't work where he used to work. He says he's got money saved up, so he's decided to pour his energy into writing his book. So there's some pressure there. On the other side of things, Nina has moved back to Chicago and broken off her engagement and is trying to create a new life for herself, get into her own photography instead of just working for someone else. So they're, spending time together and all of that when Nina's ex-fiance comes back into her life. So she decides that she's going to go to New York for work as well, but also to reconnect with her ex and see if there's anything left there as far as their relationship. She tells Darius the truth. She tells him that I'm going to New York for a while. I'm not sure how long I'll be gone. And I think she says unfinished business. And he immediately interprets that as it's a guy. And she's like, yes, we were close once and, I just want to figure some things out. So he acts like he doesn't care and ends up staying there for a while. He ends up immediately starting to date someone else. It doesn't end up working out for her there, so she comes back and he's still dating this other girl, so she thinks that he's moved on from her. So she's there doing her own thing, working on her photography, going on interviews, and he's working on his book. And his friend Hollywood asks her out on a date. She says yes, and it seems like they're having a good time together, so they keep seeing each other. And then one day there is a sort of a confrontation at a party that all of them are attending. End up having a conversation where he kind of confronts her about going back to New York, and she's like, you said you didn't care about that. And she's like, well, when I did come back, you were dating someone else. And he was like, I wasn't dating anybody else. And it isn't until she leaves that he remembers that he was dating somebody else, like right after she left. A little bit of time goes by. They end up reconnecting again, and they decide to start dating again. Time goes by. Darius is having trouble writing his book. Nina is not getting a lot of traction about her work, and they hit a point where Nina doesn't trust Darius. They have a pretty bad fight where she ends up leaving. And, a little bit of time goes by. Her friend Josie contacts Darius and tells him that she's about to move to New York, that she's gotten some work there, and she's going to be leaving. At the very last minute, he decides that he's going to meet her there, and he misses her train. More time goes by. Nina has become quite successful. She has her own shoots and some pretty major contracts. Darius has finally finished his book and it's being published. She decides to come back into town because besides seeing her friend, she was hoping to see Darius one last time. So she ends up going to the club where they first met. There's an open mic night at the club, and she reads this poem that she wrote, which is about their relationship. Darius is there and he hears the poem, and they have a very open, honest conversation about where they are in their lives and how they want to try again. And they kiss in the rain, and that's how the movie ends. I love that this movie, although it is a love story, it is a solid romance, little drama movie. It also makes it clear that this is about art as well. The perspective that you see in the beginning, where it shows you all these different scenes, is from the perspective of an artist, capturing these different moments. I love that is consistent throughout the film. Sometimes in movies, people are like, oh, this is my job, I do this thing, and they only say it, but you never see any other evidence of it. You never see them with a group of their peers or doing the thing that they say that they do, interviewing for that thing, working on a project for that thing. It's more like somebody put a title above a character, and it's like, this is what they do. And in this film, you really get to see Nina and Darius, their process, struggles that they're having, how their relationship is affecting their creativity, and how they integrate it into their daily lives, which I loved. I also like that the secondary characters are very visible, that the major theme throughout the movie is love. You have the love of your friends and your relationships with them, sentimental love, romantic love, physical love. You get all of these different perspectives on that topic in a way that still feels very relevant to today. Now, the slang that they use, the fact that they unironically are listening to vinyl, stuff like that. They're buying CDs. Some of it is dated, but the sentiment is still the same. You're going through a funk and you want to listen to some music that helps you work through that. Nina going to the record store looking for an Isley Brothers album because she, is going through a hard time, and music is helping to lift her out of that. I love that all of these different scenes highlight how important art is to all of these characters, really. Music, photography, poetry, it's in every part of the film, and it's not just like a quirk of the film, you know what I mean? Also, because it's the 90s, vignettes everywhere, fade to blacks everywhere that show time passing between day and night, a significant amount of time between one emotion and another, jazz music, blues music everywhere. The soundtrack is amazing, and I bought it. You got Lauryn Hill, Maxwell, Groove Theory, Escape, Cassandra Wilson, Cassie, Kenny Lattimore. Please, excellent soundtrack. I love that although all the characters are neurotic in their own ways, each have very distinct personalities, that it never goes too far into messiness. You know what I mean? Although the characters are very sociable in a lot of the films, they often spend time alone with their thoughts in their work or when they're struggling with something. It made them feel more authentic. The fact that they didn't call their friends every 5 seconds when they were having trouble, figuring out what to do, that they sat and thought about it or tried to write through it or tried to work through it, being so distracted by those thoughts that they can't even focus on those things. It made their relationship and the effects of their relationship on each other seem much more intense, but in a quieter way than what we see in series like High Fidelity, for example, where it's like very loud, visibly, audibly neurotic. In this case, they have their hang-ups, but it's not something that takes over their whole personality. You know what I mean? Oh, and before I forget, design. If you are into interior design, if you are into like vintage style, done extremely well. Everybody has a leather jacket. Everybody has great sunglasses. Everybody is styled so well. I love Josie's character with the big red hair and her bright red lip. I love her character. Love it. Her attitude is so funny, but not in a way where she's like a friend of me, like nowadays. She's just like, I'm bored. I don't have, it's nothing going on over here, so I'm just gonna live vicariously through my friend, being very honest about that. And oh my gosh, everybody's hair looks great. I love the necklaces, rings. Everybody's wearing a belt. There are just like all of these details that stand out that are just look so good. Oh my gosh. Nia Long's character, Nina, her whole sense of style is so great. I just love it. If you're looking for style inspo, absolutely watch this movie. Music, just for the soundtrack alone. Love Jones gets a 5 out of 5 from me because I can't think of anything they could add that would add more to the story. It feels kind of minimal, like all the essential things are there. They're older. I would say they're in their like mid to late 20s, all of the characters, and everybody is sort of living independently. Although you don't, for example, see parents, you don't see grandparents, you don't see other relatives, they're mentioned, so you know that they must exist in their world. There isn't anything that I could think of that would add more to their love story, which is all that this is about. It feels very much like a slice of life. This is a point in time where they met, broke up, met again, broke up again, and got back together. And it's definitely not that simple. It's much more complicated than that. But that in itself was full enough that was all I needed. So, highly recommend. Please let me know what you thought if you've seen the movie. Thank you so much for spending your time here with me today. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you all next time.